So, Raphael here with an update. Oh my God, I've been so busy over the last couple of days, getting this sound system to work, and of course, here you can see some code. So I'm gonna explain to you. We've got the sound system activated in here. So the way this works is we have the game launches. I know this is normally you use create process to do this, but since I work on the idea of invent and simplify. The idea is to get it as running as quickly as possible. You just want to write code and get everything working as quickly as possible. And then later on, you make it more sophisticated, or you simplify it, or you add the necessary error checking and all that stuff. But the important bit is just to get it working, so then you can refine it later. Uh, Nevertheless, this is working very well right now. So we could just leave it like this and we'd be good. But so it all started with here. Let's go to the sound to the project here. Let's see. I'm gonna double click here. Okay, so the sound to the is the way I did this is sound playback is handled through, of course, where we got here. Let's go to the window procedure through play sound. Now, most of us knows that play sound can only play. You can't play music and a jumping sound at the same time, because if you played the music and then you played the jump sound would immediately stop the music playing in the background, and no, it sucks. You can't really mix audio. Uh, a lot of people say you can't do it, but there's always a way, people. There is always a way. So the way I got around that was by uh, I told myself, what if I just created an application that played a sound? Then we could have different audio layers by launching multiple instances of that application, and then just sending it messages and telling it, hey, play this sound, play that sound, etc., etc. So here it is. Like, I called it sound 2D. I got all fancy in here, adding copyright stuff. It's nothing's. I'm just getting fancy. Wrote some, and the description is: this application is launched as a separate process by ChaosFX. ChaosFX is how I have decided to call my game engine, because it's chaos, and then we're adding all these effects to it. So that's kind of where the name came from. To allow mixing of audio playback with play sound. This theory is that every instance of this application acts as an audio layer to allow allowed to play multiple sounds without stopping there. To Oh boy, there's some grammar. There we go. Just needed to fix that. To allow to play multiple sounds without stopping the others. Another thing I also had to do, because I was launching separate processes, is I had to make sure that these applications, in the event the game engine crashed, we wouldn't be left with running copies of this stuff laying around in memory. So I implemented a timer, a 1 minute timer that basically searches for the game engine window. We identify it by its class, and if we don't find it, then we terminate the application. Also, I experimented with the way called pause and restart. They do not seem to be working at the time, but I don't know, may or may not decide to make those features work. So here I created a several defines that, here's the timer, and this vector of strings is holds the different type of sounds that we want to play. And then over here this is how we find this particular application through our game engine. Is we look for the class name sound2d1, but of course we also pair it with the name of the window. So we pass an argument, as you can see here on the game engine. you see that we pass the name of the executable, but we also pass an argument. That argument becomes the title of the window, but it also represents a file here. It's alias to a file. So for music, it would look for music text. So later on, we get fancy with this. And music text basically has, well, let's move this into view here. Music text basically has the name of an audio file that we want to play, music one wave. All files have to be in 16-bit PCM wave for them to work with Play Sound. And if we go to sound 1, you can see there's two sounds here. There's jump 1 and jump 2. You'll eventually hear these when I run the game. But basically jump 1 is the player when he jumps. And jump 2 is, you know, when he jumps on that little springy platform that makes him jump higher, then we kind of play a different sound. So I got these sounds online. So before we go any further, let me actually give credit to these artists that created these sounds here. So we're gonna go here to freesound.org, and let's make sure we get these in view here. So the jump sound was provided by Les Zari. I'm sorry if I screwed that up. So he did an awesome job with that jump sound. I took his sound and I kind of modified it a little bit to my taste, but it was still his original work. So he did a great job on that. Credit goes out to him. So, you know, pass on by. I'm not going to play it because I want you guys to listen to it when the game is playing. The other one is the background music was provided by Shifk. Oh man, this is bad. Shifka Music. I'm so sorry for screwing that up. And you know, if he's got a webpage, if you want to go check it out, it's right there. These sounds, you can go to freesound.org. Freesound.org is the name of this webpage. Freesound.org. You can get tons of sounds there for free. Just make sure that if you do use a sound from here, you credit these amazing artists. So this guy did a wonderful job with this background music that is looped. It's very catchy, and you're gonna hate me for it because it's gonna stay in your head. You know, it's like it's kind of like electro pop. You know, I just love the way it feels, and that's what I'm gonna be using for development as time progresses. So let's see. So those are the two sounds that I decided to use. I've credited these artists now. We can move on. So as I was talking, the files, our sound program here looks for those files. Of course, if we don't specify an argument, we let ourselves know that, hey, we didn't specify an argument, we are terminating. So further down, you can see it's extremely simple here in WM Create. We initialize the application by looking for the file name. We open it, we read it, and we store those entries in a vector. And then, of course, we set the default volume, which is about halfway. This is a very weird formula that was also done by research. Basically, you have to shift the bits 16 in order to access the left and the right channels. It's very weird. And then you set a value. The lowest value is, of course, 0. The highest value is 65,535. That is max value. So you take that, this would be the left side, I believe this would be the right, so you just shifted 16 bits to the left and you get this. Normally you'd see 0xh, but I didn't want to deal with freaking hex things. And you set this to null. So this will only adjust the volume for this specific instance of this application. It won't adjust the sound uh, globally. So that's important. We only want to adjust the sound of this application. That way we can actually increase the volume and set the volume as we need it. Of course, here's the timer uh, set for 60,000 milliseconds, which is of course 1 minute. And here is how we look for the window. We know that the window class is Chaos FX, so we look for that window. We ignore the title because really some clever person will probably find a way around this. But we look for this window, and if we don't find it, we post a quit message. And here's various capabilities. So we send a message to this window with send message. You'll see here, if we scroll down in WM Create, when we load all our level sprite assets and all that good stuff, then we say if the sound system is activated, we send a message to the window handle. This is how we find the window. Let's see, we're going to scroll back up here. We find the window with these settings that we set, and we store the handle in these two things right here. Now there is a number 2, but it's not being used at the moment. I will probably be using that one for like enemy sounds and or things falling of that nature. So we scroll down here. We send this message to this handle. Here's the message that we want to send. We want to play a sound. It's going to be the one located at index 0 of the file that we loaded. And 1 just means it's looped. If it's 0, it's not looped. So extremely easy. And I added that to the player jump sound here. Let's see if we can find it. I'm going to have to scroll down all the way to where we, here we go, where we get radio messages. So right here you can see I play a sound when the player jumps. And you can see this one's actually set to index 1. So this is the catapult sound. This is the sound that we get from the object, one of the pop blocks right here. This specific object sends a catapult message to the sprite that's associated with that object. And the player checks the radio messages. Every time we update, we check them. We're constantly checking the radio messages. And if we see that a message was left for that specific sprite, we get it and we react to it. In this case here, we can react to just about any kind of weird thing that the player encounters, like catapult, spikes. I do not have a sound effect for spikes, although I should have done that. So there you go. That's how the 2D sound system works. So I compiled a version of that program, and then I put it here in the folder. So it's sitting right here. It's a little big because I included System H, and that includes all the multimedia libraries. So the Win32 API. So that's why it's big. So later on we can make that more sophisticated. So we are almost ready here to do this, guys. Let's see. We're gonna go back to Game 2D now and make sure our sound system is activated. We're gonna scroll up here. Let's see. Right here, set to true. Sound system is activated. I'm gonna purposely deactivate it, and we're gonna launch the game just like that. And it should not work. We should not hear any sound. As you can see, we're not hearing any sound. Nothing. Nothing works. I've decluttered the scene up a bit. So I've also added the final layer. So I've decided not to add any more layers because I think I've got all the layers that I need. So we're all good on layers now. So now we're going to quit this program and set it to true. Here's the moment. The moment we've all been waiting for. So, with play sound, audio mixing. Let's go ahead and let's compile this puppy. There we go, we are compiled. So without further ado, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to hit build it, run, and we're gonna hear the background music. And when I jump, you guys will hear the jump sound. And when I jump on the little platform thingy, the one with the little bars that go up, indicating that yes, this will propel you upwards, you will hear a different sound. So without further ado, let's do this. Here we go. Sound system, baby. Let's do this. Oh crap. Oh crap. Okay, let me do that. Okay. So how is this working right now? I'm gonna open up the mixer, and you will see here that there's two instances of Sound 2D running. One is playing the background music, and the other one is what plays the jump sound. So in unison, this is how we get audio mixing using Play Sound, using the Win32 API. So let's see if we can actually move this one over here so you can guys just kind of look at that section right there. Actually, let's just move the window here. And I just want you guys to see there we go. So when I play the jump sound, when I jump, you will see this move. So you can see right there. So there you have it. Let's return. So there you go. Very awesome. I think it's very cool that it actually works the way I implemented it. Normally you'd use a sound library, but like I said once before, the rule is that I'm not supposed to use any type of outside library. It's got to be stock Win32 API. So this was extremely awesome to getting it to work. So I think later on we'll make it more sophisticated. For example, when the game engine window is not in focus, we should probably stop sound playback as opposed to just letting it play. So there's a way to do that. We've got features, so that can be easily implemented. So yeah, anyway, that's the update I got for now. I finally got this sound system working, and I can just go ahead and I'm gonna turn it off now, and I can continue to focus on other things in the game. And later on, I'll continue to refine it and make it better. It's deactivated and it doesn't work. Because if I sat here and tested with that, it would drive me nuts. So I'm gonna continue to look over the code and continue to add a couple of more features. There's still a couple of features I want to add to level editing. You saw how I just quickly jumped into the developer mode there and quickly made a platform, decorated it, added some crazy nifty stuff, and it's a lot of fun to be able to just do that on the fly as you're doing it. It's like a real-time game development. It's pretty cool stuff. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And bye-byes. Any questions, just ask them down below. I don't have all the answers, but if I don't, maybe I'll refer you to someone who does. But anyway, catch you guys later. Subscribe and stay tuned for updates. There's a lot of awesome stuff coming on this insanity of a